In the heat of leadership, sometimes the hardest battle is the one you face within yourself. As a leader, you push your team forward, you make the tough decisions, and you stand at the front line, whether that's on the fireground or in the business world. But what happens when you feel like you're running on empty? When the flames of responsibility seem to burn just a little too hot? If you've ever felt like the weight of the leadership is weighing you down, this will hopefully reignite your spark and keep you moving forward. So how do we recognize the weight of leadership? It becomes quite obvious when you're suddenly exhausted and you feel like the whole world's falling down around you and you can't seem to do anything and you're too tired to care, all those sorts of feelings that you get. So I'm going to look at probably 5 little areas that you can recognize and also learn from that will make you a better leader. First of all, you need to recognize burnout before it takes hold. Listen to people when they say, "You look tired." Often we'll keep going long after we should because it's just the nature of being a leader. But sooner or later, someone's going to take a look at you and go, "Gosh, you look tired today." And that's a good sign that you're reaching your limits. Another thing is you might discover that you can't think straight. You're repeating things, you're trying to do tasks and you keep going round and round in circles but not getting them completed. And you have no concentration. And this is one that I notice. I'm trying to work on a larger task, but I seem to be caught in these little small loops where I'm like, "Oh, what was I reading again?" Or "What was I saying?" Or "What was I about to do?" All those little actions, those repeating actions, that lack of concentration start to become more noticeable to you. Now, it might have been going on for quite a time, sometimes weeks, because obviously during busy times, we can go a lot without realizing that we're actually getting fatigued. So make a note of those things. Realize that they are signs that you're actually starting to burn out. Think about what your body is saying to you. Sometimes I'll go to the gym, and I go to the gym 4 days a week, so I'm there regularly. And I'll go to start doing a workout, and it's like my body's just saying to me, "No, we can't do this." Now, I can still get through my workout, that's fine, but maybe I'll drop off a couple of sets. I'll just do the 4 big exercises for the day instead, rather than pushing myself, because sometimes your body just can't handle it. Now, if you go beyond that, sometimes you can push yourself through that, and that's great. Other times it's a wise decision, if you're fatigued, to maybe step back a bit and realize that your body's saying, "Hey, you've gone too far and now this exercise is even too much for me." So it's okay to step back, but recognize that it's another sign that you're starting to burn out and you need more rest. Fatigue management is a huge part of being a leader. We worry about fatigue on our team. We think about how it's affecting our team and how much work they're doing, if they're working too many hours or if they're out in the field too much. And yet we ourselves are getting fatigued as well, because running command also takes a lot of energy mentally out of you, even if you're not physically out in the field doing work. And it's the same in business. We've got all sorts of problems weighing us down, and we don't tend to think about our own fatigue. We worry about the fact that our team is okay. You need to make sure that you're taking action to control your fatigue. Make sure that your hours aren't stretching out too long. If you're doing 40 hours, then that's great. But if you're suddenly doing 60 or 80 hours, that's not great. It's not good on you, and it's not good for your people either. They don't need a fatigued leader. They need someone who's sharp. They need someone who's on point and can help them. So make sure that you're getting your fatigue management balanced, and that you're ensuring that you're not overdoing it. Another sign that I've noticed is that I'm not sleeping properly. As I get more fatigued, more burnt out, my sleep gets broken. I can't seem to turn off my brain. It's talking to me all the time, those sorts of things. And maybe I'm getting up more in the night because I'm waking more. So if you're not getting good sleep, that can affect everything. And everybody needs different amounts of sleep. I need around 6 hours. Some people need 8 hours. Other people need 10 hours. Depends on their age. It depends on what they're doing. But you should know your own sleep cycle. And if you're not sleeping normally by your standards, then that's something that you need to make sure that you sort out. And it may be that you use some relaxing music to put you to sleep. You might need to cool the room so you can sleep better. But whatever it is, work it out and recognize that as a symptom that you are getting way too burnt out. And as I mentioned in the last one, you can't turn off your brain. This is one that I find is my brain is just constantly thinking about things, trying to solve problems, asking me questions. Even when I'm trying to meditate or if I'm trying to go to sleep, there's no quiet time inside my head. And that's normally a sign that I'm exhausted. So if you notice your brain will not shut up, think about that and take some action to take control of your life and get a little bit more rest. Number 2, the dangers of ignoring self-care. Taking care of yourself is really important when you're a leader. We all know this, and yet I can look around me all the time and see leaders who do not take care of themselves. And I believe this is the number one thing that you can do. You come first until you're healthy and you're fit and things like that. You cannot ask the same of your team and you cannot expect the same of others. So the first thing I notice is people who are unfit and out of shape. They're carrying a lot of weight around because they're not eating properly, they're not taking care of what's going into their body, and their body reacts by getting out of shape and getting unfit because they're not getting enough exercise. It's a nice big circle that tends to bite on itself. If you're a leader and you're overweight, it's not good enough. Now, I'm not saying that some people are naturally bigger people. I'm saying that you're overweight, and there is a difference, and you know that when you're overweight for yourself. You know where your weight should be, and the same goes for your fitness levels. If you're not staying fit because you're working ridiculous hours, then as far as I'm concerned, that's not working from a fatigue management point of view. It's not working for anybody, and it's certainly not good for you because in the end, you're the one that's going to have the heart attack. You're the one that's going to be sick and going to pick up some sort of disease. So if you do not take care of it now, you'll pay down the end of the line. The office doesn't care. And if you're working for someone, it's not going to make any difference. They'll just replace you with someone who is healthier. So in the end, it's you who pays the price. And what you're doing, even though you think you're doing the right thing for your team or doing the right thing for the people you're working with, you're not. You're actually taking away a great leader from them because in the end, you can't do your job properly and probably most when they need it. So make sure you take care of yourself in those ways. The other side is it affects your family. When you're not taking care of yourself, your family feels it as well. You get angry easy. You react to things rather than responding to them. You're just not a nice person to be around. And the more out of shape, the more overweight, the more uncomfortable you are within yourself, it affects your sleeping and all other things, the more it will affect your family. And I've seen far too many relationships get damaged because people go too far over one way instead of balancing their life. It also leads to developing sloppy habits. For example, eating unhealthy foods, just eating whatever you can get your hands on, takeaway. That's great if you're out sometimes and you can't. But every day it's not good. Pack your own lunch, okay? Go back to school days. If I go somewhere, I normally pack my own lunch unless I'm going out to have lunch with someone. So I always make sure I have food with me that is healthy for me to eat or that fits my needs for that day. So don't develop sloppy habits out of laziness. There's no excuse for it. It only takes a couple of minutes to eat healthily. But in the end, it's up to you. You need to make sure that you step up and take that for yourself. And one of the things I would say about self-care is that it is the one thing that you can take control of. You are in control of yourself. If you're not, then stop lying to yourself and realize that you are. No one else has control over you like you do. If you're not exercising, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating properly, all those things are your own fault. Even if you're dead broke, you can do better. So there's no excuse for not taking care of yourself. And if it means pushing back against deadlines or pushing back against expectations, then do that because in the end, you have one life to lead, and you need to lead it to be the best life and enjoy yourself. Third thing is to build a resilient team that can step up. It's really important that you understand that it doesn't always have to be you. Yes, you want it to be you. Yes, some people expect it to be you, but the fact of the matter is it doesn't have to be you. If you do not have a trained team of leaders behind you, what sort of leader are you? It's your fault. If you can't trust people to step up and take over, that's your fault. That means you haven't been a good enough leader. You haven't worked with them enough. You haven't given them training opportunities. You haven't given them opportunities to lead. So therefore, how are they going to be able to step up? So having a resilient team is absolutely essential to your success. I know with my team, I can pick up my phone and ring any one of at least 7 people who can step up at any time straight away. So if the first 3 are too busy or something else is happening, I know I've got a group of people that I can still call. You need to be in that position too. If you do not have people who can step up and take over, then as a leader, I believe you're failing in your duty to yourself and also to your team, because they need to see that you can walk away and have a holiday. They need to see that you can walk away and go to sleep and not worry about problems. When I walk out and I hand over to the next leader in my team, I do not think about what's going on. I know that they are going to take over and that they are fully capable, and I completely trust them 100%. Now, they might not do things exactly the way I would do it, but I don't expect them to. I know that what they do will still be the right thing for the team. So you need to make sure that you build a resilient team that can step up and take over from you, or you're going to burn out. It's that simple. It's always going to come back to that, because you cannot do it all the time 24/7. Number 4, the value of taking breaks. Have a holiday. Leave your devices behind. You need to be able to turn off fully when you go away. It's essential. Otherwise, you're just going to be tapped in and thinking about work or whatever it is on an ongoing basis. You owe it to yourself and to your family, if you have a family, to take those breaks and be able to enjoy that time with the people you love, or your best friends, or whoever it is you're going away with. They're there. They want to experience the situation wherever you're going, and you should be there experiencing it as well. If your mind is elsewhere worrying about leadership problems, then you're not going to actually see what's right in front of you. For example, there's no point in flying to Paris or Budapest or London or somewhere and then be walking around but not actually taking in what you're seeing. That's just a waste of money and time. And also, it's just a damn shame, because what was the point of going there for in the first place if it wasn't to experience it? One thing I have learned over the years is that short breaks regularly work better than long ones once a year. So when I first started out, I was an apprentice with a telecommunications company, and we had a rostered day off every second Friday in my case. And that meant that every second weekend, I had a 3-day weekend. And I could tell you, when it came around to end of year and leave time, when I actually had leave to take, I actually often felt like I didn't need a holiday. Now, that is very different to other jobs where I've just had normal 5-day weeks and I've had leave. I've really desperately needed the leave when the times come up. Funnily enough, having a 3-day weekend every second weekend meant that I went away camping, I went away with my friends, I went away and did things. And often with public holidays, I get a 4-day weekend because public holidays often fall on a Monday. So I'm getting 4 days off on a regular basis. And this meant that I was nowhere near as fatigued. So take short breaks on a regular basis and then have your big holiday as well, because it will make you feel so much better. Working a 4-day week rather than a 5-day week can make a massive difference to your productivity and also to your strength as a leader, because you're getting the rest you need. It's not always possible, but can I suggest, even if you just take short breaks more regularly, you're going to find a great effect on your body and also on your leadership style. You're going to be much more rested. Know your busy times and take your leave before they happen. So in the case of firefighting, I know my busy time is going to be between August and November. So if I'm going to take a break, June, July is probably a great time to have a break before things kick off. From a business perspective, busy times around March, April, May, when everybody really kicks off into the new year, because it's always a very slow start to the year. So maybe having a break in January is a good thing from a business perspective. For your busy times, think about putting your break in before the busy time, not after it, so that you're refreshed, you come back, you hit your busy time, and you're full of energy because you've had a proper break. And can I suggest, finally, when it comes to the value of taking breaks, that you either leave the country if you really can't get away from your work, or go further than 2 days drive away. That way you can't be tempted just to go back to the office or back to deal with the problem. If you can get further away, it just makes it more impossible, and in your mind, mentally, you'll deal with it in an entirely different way. But that's just my thinking. You might have different ideas, I'm not sure. But have a think about some of the points I put forward there, because these have been learnt over probably, 35 years of working. Now, lastly, reigniting your passion for leadership in challenging times. It can be really hard to keep that passion for being a leader alive. We all want to be leaders, but there comes a day, and sometimes it's on a regular basis, depending on how tired you are, where you go, you know what, I'm really tired of doing this. What are some things you can do? The first one I'd say is listening to podcasts like this. This is a great way to get some new ideas. Other ones I like are the School of Greatness and the Mindset Mentor. I listen to these on a regular basis. They give me some more energy. They make me think about things, and they give me ideas on how I can become a better leader. Another way is to getting together with other leaders. You'll learn a lot from talking with them. I like meeting with a leadership group, not my specific leadership group, but leaders from other organizations or other bodies, to talk about our businesses, to talk about our lives, talk about whatever it is, because we all approach it differently, and but we all face similar problems. So sometimes I can see how they've done it actually would work for me, or a variation of what they've done will help me as a leader as well. So getting that information helps me stay passionate. It gives me great ideas. It gives me things that I want to do. Find a buddy that you can buddy up with. Find someone you relate to, so that when you're getting frustrated, when things are bearing down on you, there's someone you can call and go, hey, I've got this thing. This is what I think I should do. What do you reckon? Am I on the right track? Having a buddy that you can bounce ideas off is a really powerful way. And I know all through my life, I have buddies in all different parts of my life that I can call and ask questions of. And they will give me yeah, that sounds like a great idea, or what about this, or I've got no idea, but let me know how it goes. They give me some feedback, and it's absolutely worth its weight in gold having someone that you can talk to who's facing similar problems. And that's the really key thing, is they need to be in the same sort of leadership role as you, or higher, to give you some feedback based on their own experience. I also like to get on the tools, and I'll say this again and again. There's nothing better than getting back to basics, whether it's in your business or, in my case, firefighting. When I get on the tools, if I'm out working on someone's website, I really love getting my teeth into that stuff. Or if it's on the fireground, getting on a truck and going out and fighting fires. It reminds you of why you started this leadership journey. And it also reminds you of what other people are going through at that base level. And you get to see again, oh, that's right, yeah, we've got to do this and we've got to do that and all, and I've got to remember that. Getting out with people and getting back on the tools is a great way, because it just takes you back to where you began and why you've worked your way up to the leadership position you're in now, why you chose to step up when other people didn't step up. And lastly, make it fun. If you're going to be a leader, enjoy what you do, make it fun. Have fun doing it, because if it's not fun, it becomes really hard, and then that exhaustion creeps in, and it's like there's no reason to do things. For me, being a leader is fun. I like being a leader. I like working with people, and I like leading them. And so that's really important for me, is that what I'm doing is fun. Because if it's not fun, I've got other things I could be doing in my life. So look, leadership often feels like carrying an unrelenting weight. And when that weight begins to drain you, it's easy to overlook the signs of burnout. But recognizing those signs is absolutely crucial to you as a leader. The best leaders understand that they're not in this alone. By building a resilient team that can step up when needed, you allow yourself the space to go and recharge and take time out, knowing that you have people you can trust to keep moving forward. Taking care of yourself and your team doesn't just make you a better leader, it actually makes you a sustainable one. If you found value, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share this with someone who's leading through the flames of change. Got any thoughts or questions or stories about leadership under pressure? Please, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me a comment or DM me. I'm Brad Hauck, and as always, run towards the flames.